Hello and welcome to episode 340 of DCP Live. Maybe it's 340. We got Lego joining us. We got Mylan Games joining us.
Yep.
Pretty exciting night. Watts can't be here. She's busy chowing on Tefty's leg. It's a pretty big meal. Makes her a little tired. You know how you get meat sweats and all.
I was going to say she played too much Iron Banner. She saw my Fusion video and she started grinding and it was just too much. Iron Banner can just take a toll on people. And she said, I need to call it, guys. Like, I can't go tonight.
I think she's secretly playing Street Fighter 6. She got addicted.
Oh,
they got good reviews, right?
They got real good reviews.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Can you really trust like Street Fighter reviews? I think it's like Zelda reviews. Like if you don't rate Zelda a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, you're literally gonna get like kicked off the internet, right? It's like the Zelda fanboys are literally going to kill you. Right? Like you can't give if you gave Zelda a 7 out of 10, you'd literally just get like review bombed into to death. Like you just
so good too.
Yes, it is good. But if it like I'm just saying. Like it's hard to trust reviews of certain games.
I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I think Watts is actually just playing Diablo 4, to be honest.
That could be. That could be. It is like kind of a big gaming night, right? It's like we got Street Fighter 6 coming out. We got Diablo 4 that came out a couple hours ago. Mylan, you've been playing the original Marathon to kind of get. Are you doing it for lore videos? Or are you doing it just for enjoyment's sake? What's going on over there?
So obviously the new Marathon that they're making is not story based. Well, that's not true. It doesn't have a campaign, and it's PvP orientated. However, they have said that it's set within the Marathon universe. And at first I was like, no, I'm not doing lore videos. I can't be bothered reading more stuff. And then I started doing a playthrough, and it is like straight up classic Bungie magic when it comes to the story of Marathon and the universe and sci-fi, and like I'm hook, line, and sinker. So I'm actually making videos now about Marathon lore.
I played the game. I want to say it was like 2005 or something like that when they released it to Xbox 360, like Xbox Live. I played it, but I cannot remember much of any of it. I remember it being sort of like Doom, like the original Doom, and I remember there being like kind of kiosks that you could like read lore at.
Yep, the terminals. Yeah.
Okay, so is like, all of the story delivered through those terminals?
Yeah, pretty much, and of course the instruction manual, because like back in the 90s, that's where the good information was. So so you can actually download the instruction manual and you can get all the games for free as well. Marathon 2, and Marathon Infinity.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I read the instruction manual, and it sort of has the prelude for like what happens, which is basically the Marathon is a colony ship, like an interstellar colony ship. It has like 24,000 people aboard it, and you're a security officer that's like shuttled there to, keep law and order, I guess. And the whole place gets attacked by an unknown alien force, and that's about all I know at the moment. And as you board the Marathon, you sort of hook up with an AI called Leela, who sort of guides you through trying to sort of get control of this colony ship again. Off this alien force, and some of the enemies are really cool, and they're gonna feature in the new game too, which makes me very excited. So, like I met this, well, actually technically I don't know what it's called yet, but it's like a special enemy unit that's like cyber enhanced, and it's the environmental storytelling is really good. So they put these enemies into terminals, and then when you access the terminals, it tells you that it's been breached. So that like, even though there's no like dialogue in the game, the environment tells you that this specific enemy was trying to access this terminal and it's breached. And then you read the terminal, and like sometimes it just doesn't make any sense, and other times it's like, oh, it's about doors. Like this whole terminal is about like all the different types of doors on Marathon. You're like, why is that important? Be like, oh, well, I mean, like, yeah, they're an invasion force. And then you read like the subject headers, like from Durandal, which is another AI. And it's just so, like, it is really the magic of Bungie that first got me into lore. and it's like piecing these little bits together and this environmental storytelling, and it's all done in like Doom graphics, and it's actually really impressive.
You're making me want to jump in and play it now. It sounds really cool.
I remember it being fun.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Let me tell you the pinnacle of this story, right? So I'm going through now, because I don't want to miss anything. I'm trying not to spoil stuff for myself, but I'm also sort of using a guide to know where not where the terminals are, but like making sure I don't miss any terminals. And just like Doom, there's like these walls that you can click on and they open up, right? So the map doesn't show it's there. You open up this room and the map doesn't normally label any rooms, but this room's labeled. It's called the deprivation chamber. In it is basically like a pit and there's enemies around it. And if you jump all the way down, you literally can't get out unless you know a certain technique. You have to reload a save. So you jump down and at the bottom is some ammo and an invincibility like buff. And it's like speed running strats. It's like bunny hopping, grenade climbing, rocket jumping, like the OG stuff that ended up going to Halo, and all this is like the first inception of it. And so I'm looking up like videos from 9 years ago, because if you do it, it teleports you to a secret room and there is a terminal in there. And it is the most debated terminal in all of Marathon's story, and people still don't technically know the importance of it. It's like this story about a guy who was imprisoned and escapes, and there's a common theory that it's like a metaphor for the rampancy in AI, but the truth of it is it's all speculation still, and it hasn't like been confirmed, and that's like super exciting, like fun. So I had to learn how to grenade climb to get this terminal, because the emulator is actually different from the, like, you can't, the physics have changed it a little bit, so you actually can't use the videos from like 9 years ago. You can't do this like bunny hopping technique. I had to use a different way of doing it.
I got to witness Mylan going all out to find the lore in the dungeon this past week, and so now he's telling me he's like learning MLG strats just to get the lore in Marathon. So who knows the skill level that Mylan's gonna be out when Marathon actually comes out.
Yeah. So it's making me very hype. It makes me very hype for the new Marathon, because we've seen some of the enemies in there. I think the Svet, something like that. And they're like Vexy. They're a bit like Vexy, and they integrate into like machines and stuff like that.
Is that the one that they show in the trailer all glitched, and it's like just the outline of it?
Yeah, or in Marathon, when you hit them, their base, it makes like a static effect, like a static on a TV effect when they take damage.
Okay.
They're always trying to infect the like the terminals, and they've actually they're only like half a body. Like when they've got like a warlock cloak on, and when they take that off, there's only like they're like sort of like hovering. And that it's in the screen, the trailer, the new trailer with the it's like a green circle in their chest.
Yeah, and it's on the Warlock armor from the anniversary pack from Destiny. That's really cool.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and of course this is all in the multiverse, right? So all this stuff comes across into Destiny 2. So like Mitre Multi-Tool is like from Marathon. The Marathon shotgun, that kind of stuff is like in Bungie's multiverse.
Yeah, I did not know this.
Rampant
awesome.
AI
I knew about
all over the place
the
in the multiverse.
From from the
rampant AI everywhere. Yeah,
Dares of Eternity and all that, but I did not know Mina Multi-Tool was from it too. That's really cool.
Yep. So yeah, I've been very surprised with like how much I'm enjoying a game that is from 1994. But the thing is, you just see so much of the Bungie's DNA in that game that made its way to Halo, that made its way to Destiny. It's like the soundtrack is so good for like 8-bit, and it just
awesome.
It's like all those like things that worked really well in Marathon just got transferred into Halo. Like this idea of like a set piece, great music, different enemy types, like solve this encounter. Like it was just the precursor. Well, actually, I don't know if I think Path of Darkness or something is before Marathon, so I'm not too sure what that's like. But I'm enjoying it.
Are you gonna play all three of them, or you think you're gonna? I mean, we got a little time before the new Marathon comes out, so you think you'll check all three of them out?
Yeah, I'm gonna check all 3 of them out, and I'm sort of making a little YouTube series. So like play it on stream, and then essentially write like what happened in episode 1. You know, whatever. Like so if you're not gonna replay them, you can sort of watch them and understand what you as a new player would see and hear as you went through the series.
That's awesome.
Perfect. If I don't end up playing it, I'm definitely going to binge all of those.
Like you weren't on last week when we were talking about the new marathon. What did you think of that reveal?
Oh my gosh. I'm so pumped for it because it's exactly what I've always wanted Bungie to do with Gambit. Basically, like I'm like, please, like some kind of like dark zone, something. And extraction wasn't the word that ever came to my mind, but now that they've said it and labeled it that, I can just see Bungie taking over that field of games and bringing it to a new level, just like they did. Like they created this RPG first-person shooter and brought it to a new level. You know, I think they could do the same thing here, and I'm very excited to not just see all the Vidocs, but the actual interview that Chris did in. It was like a written interview that they had linked to it, and in it he talked about how the core of the game is still to aim to have that Bungie shooter feel. And I was like, okay, that's all I needed. I needed that, and then the strategic get in, get out. You got to make tough choices. Do I go get the loot? Do I get out? Am I, what is my goal here? And there's multiple ways to win. I love that too. How it's like you're not just trying to battle royale it and be the last one on the field. It can be about just getting the loot and getting out and never seeing anyone. You could play that way if you wanted to, or be the first one to open a new arena. It all sounded really cool. And I have a bit of experience, not with like Tarkov. I know that's the big example everybody's been giving lately, but I feel like it's probably going to be faster paced than that, I'm guessing. And maybe, I don't know, there's no telling at this point, but the Battlefield actually did a mode that was like an extraction mode that was really, really fun. The problem is like it had such few maps, and the population wasn't as there and the community wasn't as there as there is for something like Destiny. I played it with a bunch of Destiny friends and I was like, this is awesome. This is really fun, but it didn't progress as much as Bungie games do. So if they can take that kind of feel where you're trying to get your team out, grab something, I'm absolutely pumped.
I used to play one of these. I can't remember what it was named though. It was like set in like a Louisiana bayou, and like there were PvE enemies all over the place that were like, like zombies of some sort. It was called like Hunt Down or Hunt. I can't remember.
Showdown.
Hunt Showdown.
Hunt,
Thank you.
I think.
Yeah. Man, that game was fun.
That's like maybe a different kind of slightly varied version of extraction shooter, because it's not a battle royale because you can extract, but it's like you go in to hunt the monsters, right, and then you can get out.
Yeah. You can hunt the monsters, or you could play it PvP. Like it kind of combines it, but it was all very atmospheric and
very good.
Yeah, it's really fun. Very difficult.
It didn't really get a huge amount of attention, but people still play it now, and well received, I think.
Yeah. Does this great thing. It's got proximity voice, so like you can hear the conversation of like the enemy team if you're close by. It's fun to hear them talking about you.
I've played it only a couple times, and I've used VoIP before to yell at people.
I do have one last question on Marathon. Is that you talked about the Marathon ship? Is that the one that they show in like the new game trailer? Is that the assumption is like the ship that's like it through that moon?
I haven't got that far yet, and I did ask that question to some other like lore nerds, and I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
But I do think it's on. Did I say Mars? It's gonna be one of the colonies. I think the Mars colony, which I think is Tau Ceti 4. Is the name of it.
Is there any indication yet what happened to the moon? In the new trailer, the moon has it looks like a ship crashed into it, and it's like split in the new trailer.
Yeah, I think there is something about and look, I haven't like I said, I haven't played all of Marathon. I think there is something about building ships inside of asteroids.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
Very interesting.
It's a good way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you guys played the dungeon this week. How'd it go?
Loved it.
Me and Mylan found a tank real fast, and we blew it up real fast.
Oh.
So like, Watts got disconnected by whatever. She was just having PC troubles, and there's like a little puzzle in the first place where you can just find all these switches, and it spawns in that tank from when Titan was around that you would drive through walls. You couldn't, that one that can't shoot. You could just like, drive around. There was like a little Easter egg, and I was in it for a whole fucking 2 seconds and like got it stuck on a log, and then we blew it up thinking it might respawn, and then it was gone.
I can't believe it got stuck. It was like this tiny little, it was like a speck of a log coming out of the ground, and Mylan just happened to go over it just the right way.
And it sort of picked it up, so like no track touched the ground, so it couldn't do anything.
Tanks can't grapple.
That would be cool. No, the dungeon was really, really fun though, I thought, and I feel like that was the general consensus as we were going through it, is like, this is so cool for a dungeon. I'm curious if you ran on multiple runs, how you felt about it, Mylan, because for me, like, every single time I've enjoyed it. I do feel like the first part's a little long, but outside of that, there's some interesting gear that I want, and lore-wise, incredible dungeon, and graphically, just like what they have you do, it just felt so cool going through it for the first time.
Yeah, the mechanics, the story, the armor set is absolutely wicked. I enjoyed all of it. I think it's been a dungeon that I normally do solo flawless in dungeons like straight away. It's like my favorite type of content. I haven't jumped back into doing solo flawless on this dungeon. I know people have been complaining quite heavily about like boss health, and I do think that's going to be an issue for me doing solo flawless, just with the sheer amount of like phases you have to do to get through it. I don't really know how I feel yet. I just know that I like the mechanics and I like for it to be relatively hard, but I think Destiny has this thing where you sort of want it to be hard in the beginning, but then you want it to be farmable. And I think when you got good gear and you want items to get, like, you want your skill to close that gap, right? Like, you want it to be learning takes a long time, and then you want to go get skilled, get proficient, organize my team, and you want to be able to farm something. And I think just the way it is at the moment, maybe it's not very easily farmable. I don't know. I haven't done it, but
we did farm it for a bit, that middle section, because Watts got the glaive, and I was like, no, I want the glaive. Why Watts? Yeah, right. And so I've been going after that, and we just farmed it a few times another night, and just keep going back in. And that second encounter isn't bad to do with 3 people. We were 2-phasing it, and I'm not the best PvE player,
Well,
so like solo. Yeah, solo, it's a grind for sure. Shout out to a streamer, Sammy Cat. She's the nicest person. She does every dungeon solo with all bow. And just to see her try to do that with the boss's health, I was like, that looks like a nightmare. So I understand the problem for solo players, but it's pretty farmable.
Okay, that's good. I only really had the experience the first couple times, and then trying doing it solo, so it was tough. But I know, like, chat saying just get your artifact level. Yeah, I know there's aspects of Destiny that are still like grind your artifact level to make stuff easier. It's the same with Lost Sectors. it's the same with the dungeon. So
well, that's that part's pretty disappointing to me too, because the whole thing going into this season was there's no light level grind. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're going to be able to play the in-game stuff, like, right away. And we were, but it's like, hey, you're 30 light levels under until you specifically play the game a whole lot. It's not, do these certain things, take these shortcuts, do these bounties. It's like you literally just have to play a bunch or be just an expert XP grinder. And that is a little disappointing. Personally, just, I don't know. That's a long time to play.
That is good. And like the Bungie monkey paw at work, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they got rid of light level, but they left the part of it that we wanted to get rid of, which is that like early season grind that like bars you from doing content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
I
for.
mean, it's not that it doesn't stop you from doing the content. It's just that like it would have you can make it a lot easier by doing the grind, which I suspect that's what they sort of want you to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I assume so too. But I'm curious how it will play out with grandmasters and all of that kind of content, because that's the continual thing for players who haven't done a certain kind of content. Yeah, for the people who always do the nightfall, who always do the grandmasters, like it's no big deal. Who always do the dungeon, but for like new players that have never done this stuff and they want to go in for the first time, that they can't do it till the very end of the season, basically. If they're not experienced with it, and that's a barrier that I don't like personally.
Lore, Xivu.
Before you do lore, can you just like kind of walk through the encounters of the dungeon, like what, like
yeah,
kind of how it went?
So the first encounter has the really big open area of the archaeology, so it's quite like jungle vibes, and you have to. You remember when Xivu had the cryptoliths and it was like green stuff on the ground that was like poisony, like shimmery stuff. You basically have to follow a trail of that, and it leads you to like groups of enemies. And there's a hive symbol, and once you move, like jump from each like area to area, you got to kill a light bearer. You crush their ghost, and it gives you like a buff, which allows you to then use deep sight back at like this center ritual area, and then you just got to match like whatever symbol you had seen in each group of enemies. Oh my god, my voice!
I can take it, Milo, if you want.
yeah, and that's like the first encounter. It's really introducing you to the hive symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it keeps going throughout the rest of the raid too. And props to Bungie for putting that archaeology. Like everybody's always said, I want to go there. That place looks so cool. And they literally just drop you in and start you there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And after that, you go straight down into basically like the underwater play. Like you're traveling a long time underwater, just exploring, trying to get to the second encounter. And that part was really cool. It takes a long time once you've done it once. But Watts is telling us to tell him our hive symbol callouts, and they are really good. I've almost posted them a few times.
Oh, let's hear them.
Because that's the second encounter. Is you get to the second encounter, and when you meet the boss underwater, and when you come up, you basically have to fight tons of ads, and the person who goes under the water has to go activate all the runes, the right ones that you activate from up top with a deep sight, and so Watts and Mylan are yelling out these words at me, and I'm like, what is it called?
Yeah, well, we were calling it like, there's some obvious ones like burger and stuff like that, but there is the one that looks like a crab, it's like, from SpongeBob.
It looks like Mr. Krabs, which I can't
Mr.
believe
Krabs,
it, but
right? It's like Mr. Krabs, but then one of them looks like Mr. Krabs, but there's like a big triangle between his legs, so it's like Mr. Krabs with a big ding dong. So it's like picnic table with burger, Mr. Krabs with big PP.
My favorite was when we just started shouting out double peen. That's gonna stick with me for a long time. Is double peen.
I mean, which one's double peen?
That's the one with the triangle, because it's just two lines going down.
Go down, double peen. Yeah, down with double donger. That was the last wish one.
The Mr. Krabs one though, I did not know that symbol was in there, and so Mylan kept saying Mr. Krabs, and finally I found it underwater. I was like, it does look like Mr. Krabs. It looks exactly like Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, because it even got the eyes too. It's got like the oval eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, in case that wasn't clear, when you fight the first major boss, there's like one person goes underwater and it's got to collect all the resistant bubbles, whatever the pressure bubbles, whilst like there's little symbols on the wall. They gotta match the symbol to what's the other players are doing. So, and while that's happening, there's a big boss chasing them around underwater, a big lucid hive. So that's like quite a cool section.
It's very cool. I think that's one of the most fun sections of like raid and dungeon. Like, it's a cool mechanic that keeps you really engaged the whole time. I imagine it probably wasn't as exciting for Mylan and Watts up top because you're just ad clearing, and there's so many ads. Dado came out with a video this past week just talking about the ad density in that section. It's very insane. They just really nailed how fun it is. Despite the boss's health being really big, it's just a fun section of the raid. And the third part is, I would argue, almost just as fun. The third encounter. And I love that when we were getting to that encounter, I didn't even say it, but as we were going down the tube to like go underwater, you're slowly descending and you see a ship in the background. I was like, Mylan, you know what that is? Look at that thing. And Mylan's like, what is it? I don't see it. I don't know. What is that over there? Oh, that's just a normal hive ship. Don't worry about it. And I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah, it looks like the Dreadnought, which was some foreshadowing, because when you go into the last room, you see Oryx's body has actually crashed into, is there. Like it crashed into Saturn's moon Titan, and it's been there, and they're trying to forcibly like resurrect Oryx, and that's like the ritual that you stop. So the lore says basically we hear Xivu Wrath the whole way through the oh my god. We hear Xivu Wrath all like the whole way through the dungeon, and oh wait, you might have to fill in.
I'm gonna take it over.
I've got a hot tea coming, so maybe that might help.
That's exactly what I'm drinking right now too. So you see that ship as you're going down through these tubes. You can kind of see it in the distance, and it's getting closer and closer, and it looks like that diamond shaped dreadnought. And then when you finally get in there, it's a great reveal. Like, you walking into that room and you see like hands and feet sticking out, and just Oryx's face staring at you, and it's very imposing. And there's just this wizard standing above it, with a ghost, with one of the hive ghosts, like they're trying to like resurrect Oryx. It's very, very cool intro, and I love the build up to it. I thought the build up was really cool.
So did they go? All right, so did they go and get Oryx's body?
No, so like when it yeah, that's a heavily debated topic.
Yes.
When you destroy him on the Dreadnought, his body floats off in space towards Saturn, and the implication is it didn't crash land on Saturn. It crashed landed on Saturn's moon, Titan.
Yeah. And
okay.
Everybody's all up in arms about it online because they're like, we watched his body floating into Saturn. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, but it's a video game with space magic. Yeah, so exactly. We're going to let this one go.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on. You're literally swimming in methane oceans into air,
firing weapons near them
through like veiled walls, so
yeah.
Space magic. I think sometimes things are interesting enough that it can suspend, disbelief. And for me, it was interesting enough to not really care how he got there.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's exactly how I felt, especially seeing it for the first time. You're like, oh man, this is really cool. And then when you're actually playing it, there's that tension of like, I'm actually doing something important because I know how bad Oryx is. So I know how important this dungeon is. It actually has stakes, which is cool.
Oryx was just misunderstood.
And the mechanics in the last boss are really cool too. There's like a visual puzzle where you have to line up two symbols, similar to do you remember in Witch Queen Briar where you had to line up the Witch Queen symbol? You had to be standing in the right spot to make the symbol. They basically had like that mechanic in the last boss, which is the bit that we got stuck on for ages. Even though Lego basically said the answer, we just never did it. He's like, oh, do you think we need to like look through this fucking hole to like see the symbol? We're like, oh, this is pretty obscure. And we just like,
abandoned it.
Doing the wrong thing for like an hour. And then we like finally line up the symbols. Like, and he goes, bing, and like,
I'm glad somebody tried it again because so I actually did the wrong thing. I did try to line it up, but there's these black balls that appear above where you need to do the dunks on the arm, hand, and
Yeah.
stuff. And I was trying to
Oh.
like put the ball in the hole as one does,
Sure.
and it's just nothing would happen. And so finally, Mylan was like, "Oh, I'll look at the symbol through the hole," and then that worked. And I was like, "Dang it, I was so
Yeah.
close."
Yeah, needed to like rotate the boss to certain spots, and it was really good mechanically for a dungeon. It
Yeah.
was impressive that they made the mechanics that complex for a 3-person activity, and that could also be soloed. And I think that's like my complaint about the other dungeon or the most recent one, the duality is like it
Mm.
was literally connect the dots. That's all it was. Whereas this actually had
Spire. Yeah.
yeah, Spire. Sorry, Spire. I said duality. Yeah, yeah. Enjoyed it a lot.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, lore-wise excellent, like to me, and also mechanically excellent and visually like stunning, like really stunning. As we were going through it, it was hard to not feel like this was going to be your favorite dungeon, even if it didn't end up being your favorite dungeon, like your favorite dungeon like experience for the first time, is how I felt.
What a great reveal at the end.
I reckon it's up there. I reckon it's up there with like all-time great dungeons. Like it's, I, I mean, I'd put it probably right up there with Prophecy, if not above Prophecy, because of like Prophecy has cool armor, but it doesn't seem that related to what you're doing. Whereas this has like the continuity of like the armor, you look like a king basically. There's like a king armor for the Taken King. There's like underwater king armor. The theme of it, the mechanics of it, the scale of it. Like it's
Yeah.
I mean, if
Man.
the weapon, I don't know if the weapons are that good. I haven't really looked at them yet, but
Oh, I think they're pretty good. I think
are
they're
they?
going to be pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, because the rocket. So everybody's saying there's the waveframe stasis grenade launcher, but like that. Everybody's like, oh, this is going to be in everybody's hands. There's the glaive, which I think is going to be the best glaive for Crucible, just because it has a faster fire rate. And then there's the SMG, which can get that Discord perk I was talking about pre-show, which will
Yeah, I got that.
autofill your magazine. So the SMG can get Discord and Incandescent together. So it's like refilling your ammo, giving you extra accuracy, like under pressure, and then also blowing stuff up with Incandescent. And then you could swap to, another weapon and keep going. And then finally, the rocket launcher can get, I think, like Envious Assassin to overfill the mag, and then also some maybe it's bait and switch. There's some other perk that it can get in the last column that's like big for damage. So it's a very good rocket launcher.
I got Discord Incandescent on my SMG.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't actually used it yet, so
I hear it's
I
very
really
good.
feel like Bungie has found their way with like perks that are very powerful but require a little bit of setup. I feel like they've gone down this path like they were sort of really stuck in the whole rampage perk set for so long.
Yep.
Just like straight up increasing time to kill. But now it's like these other really interesting perks are coming into play, which makes you think about your whole build a bit more.
I literally went and made a whole build the other day, not just over this Discord stuff, but I got sucked into the new competitive weapon for comp, the sniper rifle. It has Discord in the first column, which also gives you 30 airborne effectiveness, and then I got elemental capacitor in the last column, which if you run strand also gives you airborne effectiveness. And so I ran all of that with the strand build and was running a 100 airborne effectiveness sniper and was trying to like rope around and I got a shot with it. I was like, whoa, this thing like actually works. So yeah, it's
cool.
interesting. Yeah, I think that I feel like I want to give props to Merc, the way that he like
I think so.
the way that his mind worked with making Revision 0 and making the mini game of that. It feels like a lot of these weapons have mini games. The whole team at Bungie is doing great, but all the mini game type perks like remind me of Merc, and I
it does feel like it's sort of got that theme going on, and like I'm here for it for sure.
Yeah,
like what you were telling me before, how you could get Discord on both your kinetic and energy slot.
Yes. Yeah.
For
exactly.
like infinite ammo.
And on top of that, some of the weapons can get Harmony or Cascade Point on top of having Discord. So you get like you can like regenerate ammo and have some crazy time to kill value at the same time and have infinite ammo and keep swapping back and forth between the weapons. Sounds very cool.
Yep.
Sounds like Gambit is going to be in trouble if we bring those into Gambit if anybody's still playing.
What's Gambit again?
Oh, the other thing I didn't say was like the law of Xivu is like in the armor. I think it's armor that tells you about it. Basically, Xivu Wrath keeps visiting her brother's grave, and that's why you hear like these dear diary sort of entries from Xivu Wrath. So, and his body absorbs it for some reason, and that's why you get these like calcified fragments, very similar to the Dreadnought, scattered throughout the dungeon. That's all I got. Because my friend's killing me.
Those fragments. We were on them.
So did you guys check out Iron Banner this week?
Yep.
Full reset in already. I'm going for it.
Yeah. Any good rolls coming out of there?
How was your experience been with Iron Banner, like gameplay wise? I
really struggle with it. So I like don't. So I usually forget about the whole connection, skill-based matchmaking, whatever. You know, that whole thing, I don't really think about it that much. I just go play solo and just whatever happens. And this time it was I just had a really bad time with connections with games. I had one I played earlier and it was like fine experience-wise. Like I had like a good session, but the other 2 sessions that I had with it, it was just somebody lagging around the match the whole time. I've had issues with kills, like not procking when I kill, like I'll like get the kill and then a second later the kill feed goes off, which on a fusion rifle where you have to charge and I'm running that Discord loop where I'm like trying to do these intricate builds and it makes it like impossible. I'm like, all this build crafting goes out the window when I don't know if I got the kill or not. So it's kind of been a frustrating time, but at the same time there's a really good weapon. The fusion has that Discord perk. It's got rangefinder on it on adaptive fusion, which only one other fusion, Tachyon Forces, ever had rangefinder on an adaptive fusion before. So that's very good. And also the emblem is really cool too. So those are like my pros, but the cons has definitely been connections have just, and loading times too have felt bad as well. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, my connection strangely has been okay.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. Welcome.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the games have been tough. In general. Doesn't seem to be a huge amount of middle ground. I found when we had if I went in with 3 people, it was actually really sweaty. So you either need to go like full sweat with a full team of 6 or go on solo. I think my games of solo were actually probably easier and better than the team of 6, but it was neither here or there, to be honest. I heard a lot of people saying it was really sweaty for them, but I kind of found it okay.
I did have on the good session that I had some funny things happen. One, I don't stream, so I have the, luxury of leaving my in-game chat on just to see if anybody's talking and saying anything. And I had 2 different games in a row where there's just one guy at the bottom of the leaderboard who isn't getting any kills, who's just yelling at everyone. He's so mad.
Takes you back to the Call of Duty days.
Why are you going? Yeah, I felt like I was back in Call of Duty all of a sudden, and so that was weird for like to have 2 games back to back and to have the person be at the bottom of the leaderboard both times. Like, man, what is this? But then like 2 games later, I had someone all of a sudden that was like, Lego, love the podcast. And they were like talking about the podcast and how much they love hearing everything. So that was cool. It's always fun to like talk with other people playing the game that listen to the show and that, know the community well and aren't just yelling at their teammates. So that was a good, cool, positive experience I had in there.
Yeah, nice.
That's something I miss about that era of like Xbox Live gaming was kind of like the default. Everybody had a microphone and chat was turned on. I mean, it was toxic as hell, and there was a lot of just very casual racism thrown around, which was not cool at all. But when you did happen to get into a lobby filled with cool people, it was just fun, like, and a little bit of talking shit was fun too, like in a friendly way. Like it was just cool. you know, when it wasn't awful.
That's how I felt whenever I had the game with the guy where we just started talking. We talked about weapons and stuff. The whole rest of the game, it was
nice.
and other people on our team started teabagging like us, like they could hear us talking, and we're like, yeah, that's cool. But what was really funny through that whole gameplay experience was the people who wanted the first guy that I played that was just yelling at his team the whole time. There was nobody else who had their mic on, and so finally I unmuted and was like, dude, we're all just chilling playing Iron Banner. Like it's not that serious. And he was like, oh yeah. Like he was like, he wasn't ready for somebody to talk back. Yeah. He was like, I was just, I was just, it's okay.
I wonder if you knew his mic was on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe not.
Just talking shit in an empty room. He's like, oh, I didn't know you guys could hear me.
I bet that could have been the case.
Some people do play games like that. They just constant stream of verbal.
One of my kids is a little bit like that.
Tag.
One of my kids likes to yell a little bit at the screen.
My brother's like that. My twin brother's like that when he plays games. Yeah. Oh, I distinctly have memories of him like playing Zelda or fucking whatever, and just screaming, "The game's cheating!"
Funny stuff. You want to go to the TWAB? There's some stuff in the TWAB.
Before we go to the TWAB real quick, I'm curious on Mylan's thoughts on the story, like the weekly story. Anything that happened that stuck out to you?
Oh yeah,
didn't feel huge to me, but I liked all the character interactions. So I'm curious if I'm like missing, because I was just kind of brain dead running through it, and then I was like, oh, I like this Osiris Saladin banner at the end. That was really awesome to hear them two talk. But I'm curious, what was the takeaway for you?
Okay. To do the season story with Asa, is that what you mean?
Yeah, with Asa, yeah.
Yeah, so really cool stuff got revealed in the lore that basically Asa is a proto worm god. So we have the proto hive, which is we've seen in the cutscenes, right? They're the hive before they took on the worm and became like all powerful. Now it's revealed that Asa is actually from a species before they became worm gods, and they were also tricked by the witness into becoming a worm god.
Interesting.
So they were cursed by the witness, and that led them down that path, which means that because the witness also lied to the hive, so the witness orchestrated the entirety of making worm larvae, tricking the hive into accepting it, and then like Oryx going on a fucking conquest for millennia. Like it was, because it had to feed their worm.
This feels a little revisionist history, doesn't it? Like, because it always felt like the hive were, like, this was all fueled by the hunger of the worms. But I guess you can add the witness as a backdrop to that too. But
yeah, they were given the hunger. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, they were. Well, it doesn't really say like what the witness did to them. It says that they were cursed, so you don't know what that species had to do before. Like if they, I'm assuming they didn't need like violent tribute to stay alive.
Mass extinction.
Like I'm assuming that's probably like not part of their species, but was added to it. So they sort of, I assume that the witness set up the need to like feed the worms through that tribute system, and then pushed the hive to do that. That's pretty big.
What a dick.
Also, before we go to the next section, there are leaks everywhere, and it's one of my bugbears at the moment. Of cutscenes, people data mining cutscenes and putting it up on YouTube, and it's like straight in the thumbnail, straight in the title. I have avoided it. I don't know what's in them. Ironically, when I happen to predict a storyline because I read the lore, people accuse me of reading data mine stuff. And then when I get stuff wrong, I get millions of comments going. Not millions. I get a lot of comments saying, everyone already knows this. It's in the leaks. I'm like, okay. So, please don't be that person in the YouTube comments, like, just spoiling it for other people.
Yeah.
if it doesn't bother you, cool, well done. It bothers other people who are actually playing Destiny for the story. And guess what? You ain't playing Destiny for the PvP at the moment, so let us have the story, please.
Yeah, and that goes for Twitter too.
Common.
Like it's.
What's that?
I said, leave something positive, like not taint scratcher. If you feel like you need to leave a comment.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah. You gotta say something.
Yeah. Taint scratcher.
So yeah, this season though, and we can use information that we already have, which I wasn't aware of, which is on the Bungie website, is about the Witness's origins. So it was sort of implied in this week's dialogue that the Witness was visited by the Traveler and probably had their own golden age, similar to the Elixir did. And we can sort of confirm this because we got this similar information from Savathun in Witch Queen, which didn't know if she was teasing us or not, or if it was true. But she basically said the same thing. The Witness was once mortal, was empowered by the Traveler. Oh no, was uplifted by the Traveler.
Oops.
Yeah, so I think what the leaks will go down is sort of expanding upon that. But at the moment, we don't know any more than that.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So so I looked at a couple of different like theories about like why is the Witness so angry now then if they were aligned with the Traveler, and it comes down to this idea of like not having purpose. The Traveler was like a silent god, gave them everything, and they like didn't have purpose. And that
Cry me a
for
river.
whatever reason. Yeah, I know.
That's weird.
I'm a billionaire.
Yeah. I'm so
That's
bored.
weird. It's so similar to like all the other races, like the Fallen and all the other ones that the Traveler left, and then they're like, "Oh, we're angry at you for leaving us." And I mean, I know it's different because it's like purpose versus like leaving us to the Witness, basically, or the Hive, but it's still an interesting parallel there that the Traveler was like a silent god to all these different races and ultimately the Witness.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I think we'll find out a lot more about the Witness, and hopefully that will, for whatever reason, give us an idea about where they've gone and why they made the portal and the Traveler. So hopefully it will add into that storyline about the Veil, which we are getting little snippets each week about the Veil. I haven't made a video yet about it. It doesn't tell a huge amount, but it's like some side story, like about Xivu and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm gonna get through it. I'll leave you with that.
You know, it's funny.
My talking.
I don't think I actually care about the Veil. Like I understand what the Veil was as like a storytelling device, and I guess that's all I need.
It was just
Right,
so
you
fucking.
do? Can you
no,
tell us?
as a storytelling device, not as I don't know what it is, and at this point I don't care because like at the time I needed to know, or I felt like I needed to know. But now that moment has passed, we're on to, you know, like talking about the Witness, talking about like this, you know, portal in the Traveler, you know, Xivu Wrath, you know, like all this other stuff is happening. I'm like, hey, explaining the Veil now, it doesn't matter anymore. Like you already missed your opportunity to explain the Veil when it was relevant, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I can't really comment on it until I haven't played that new story mission that gets the hand cannon and gives all the information about it yet, so I haven't like experienced it. There's something about once I got done with Lightfall, I was like, okay, like you said, like I'm kind of done with that now, and I want to explore these weapons. I want to do the new Seal stuff. I'm curious about Asa, all this other stuff, and all the Lightfall stuff. I'm like, like that was fun, but I'm done with that right now. You know, maybe if the weapon was a fusion rifle, I would be in there, but but no, I just haven't found the time yet because there's so much other stuff with the season. We got so many weapons, and they dropped Trials of Osiris this weekend, like on top of a new dungeon, on top of Iron Banner. This is like, it's so much content so fast that I don't have time to go back and do missions for Lightfall, is what I feel like as someone who, you know, plays other games.
All season to do it, or you got all year to do it. You know, like there's no rush.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
let's go to the TWAB. I'm going to skip around a little bit on this TWAB real quick because today is June 1st. It's the first day of Pride Month, and they do have Pride at Bungie. They have a new emblem and a new banner. And I think a pin, right? Is there a pin that you get with this as well? No, I think it's just the emblem and the banner you get for a $10 donation, and that donation will go directly to the It Gets Better project. So this seems like a no-brainer. It seems like more important than ever right now to support this kind of stuff. Like, it is fucking rough out there.
Yeah, it really is. And they also say in that spot too, be sure to keep your eyes on the blog for future Pride updates coming soon. So like they're going to be doing more throughout the month. It doesn't just stop at this emblem or anything like that. And obviously from Bungie's past, we can see that they want to help the community here. And like you said, it's rough out there, and we want to show that love.
Yeah. I really like this about Bungie too, is that they put stuff in the game to motivate you a little bit to just help other people out. I think that's just a fucking really cool gesture. Yeah. You get a little something to show off on your Guardian, and you get to have the peace of mind that you're making a little difference in the world, and that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And the emblems are cool as well.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Is a marathon emblem as well?
Yeah, there is a marathon emblem. It's not that exciting though.
Well, if you want to be excited about marathon,
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, as someone who's now playing marathon, all the terminals are black and green, so I respect the clean.
Like computers used to be.
Well, yeah, the black and green. Yeah.
I do like how all sci-fi from like I don't know about that time period, frankly, just kept the green and black monitors on like spaceships, because we're going to definitely be able to like do interstellar travel, no problem. We're going to make that huge scientific jump, but these Apple IIs are going to stick around.
Yeah. Yep.
What else is there? There's a new budget reward.
Not much,
yeah. There's a new budget reward if you can get the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon hoodie, Ghoul title pin, and Ghost of the Deep Dungeon pin. You can buy those off of the Bungie store. I think you can only get them if you completed the dungeon. Is that right?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yep.
Complete the dungeon by August 22nd.
I kind of like that hoodie. Yep. It's nice.
Yeah, it does look good. Bungie
hoodie's
always
kind of a
really
Miami vibe to it. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rock that. I'd rock that hoodie. Is that it? Is there anything else in the swap?
That's
I will.
Pretty much it, isn't it?
There is one thing that wasn't in the TWA, but they did a update today. Actually, they did an update 7.1 9 hours ago, and in it there was there's like some random fixes and stuff, but two things that I noticed that I was like, oh, that's gonna like change the way I do something. One is trials happen this weekend, as I said, and there's a glaive. And the messenger is returning, and not a lot of people are excited for the glaive because there weren't a lot of perks on it that was like, this is new and interesting that another glaive couldn't do. But they put in this patch note, Trials Glaive Unexpected Resurgence. They moved Impulse Amplifier from the right trait column to the left, so usually all your damage stuff is in the right, and Impulse Amplifier was over there, which you kind of really want on a glaive to make it feel good. So now it's on the left, so you can stack it with a good damage perk, so that's great. And then they added Swashbuckler and Volt Shot to the right column. So Volt Shot on a glaive, if it still works like it used to, some people have tagged me after I started talking about it that Volt Shot has changed. I know it got nerfed, like it's not as good as it used to be, but previously, as of last season, glaives had the highest jolt multiplier out of any weapon outside of a rocket launcher. So the actual jolt damage that ticks on the boss is going to be the highest on a glaive for DPS. As far as last season went, people are commenting. I had one person comment saying that it changed. Everybody else hasn't said that yet, so I'm assuming it's still the same. So that was I bring it up because that never happens. Like, to release a weapon, like it just became available this weekend, and then they changed the perks like 3 days later. They added new perks and rearranged them. So pretty interesting. I'm excited to actually get it now. I wasn't before because Volt Shot brings something unique to the weapon, and I'm really excited to try it out now. And I think it's really interesting they made this change so quickly.
Nice. That is interesting. Twitter questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all that's left.
Sounded good over there.
Please fucking put me out of my misery. Holy shit.
Sir says, fuck, marry, or kill for each of you, Keitel, Nimbus, and Callus. That is a tough one.
Like, you gotta sleep with Nimbus, right? Because, I mean, one of y'all might take Callus, but I feel like it's the hardest part here. The hardest part here is marry. Who you gonna marry? Because Callus and Keitel are both good options for like setting you up. I feel like Keitel will probably be more like set you up on a warrior's path. I don't know that I want that. I think I might just want to chill. So I feel like I'll go with Callus.
You don't think Keitel would be like the kind of she's a strong woman, but she's got this kind of like homemaker kind of husband at home, just kind of like, you know, he's a nice guy, you know, he does the chores, he cooks, you know, Keitel's out there making war. You know, he's one of those like chill
It's like
dudes.
that. Have you seen the new Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Oh, I haven't yet. It's on one of the streaming platforms we have though, so I'm like gonna watch it soon.
Which one is it on?
Because it's like one. It's like one guy's a dwarf, and then like his wife's like a giant kind of deal. It reminds me of like Keitel, and he's just like doing all the house chores, cooking and stuff. And she goes out, and she goes gets some like wildebeest and shit, brings it back. Kind of cozy.
It's on Paramount Plus for free.
Thank you.
Have it. Yeah, free trial. Do a free trial.
I mean, this is a tough one because I consider all of them to be equally fuckable. Like, they are just very.
Alice?
Oh yeah.
Alice?
Hell yeah. But I gotta marry Keitel. I'm gonna be her. She's gonna be my war mama, and I'm gonna be her household daddy.
When you put it that way,
that's
kind of in.
Yeah.
And
I'm just hoping like Nimbus has some like cloud arc cyber shit going on. We can just go into the virtual land and
Nimbus knows how to please, I think. So Callus, I don't think Callus is a giving lover. As much as I love Callus, I don't think he's going to be a giving lover. No. And not marrying him, I think would also create some problems. I think there would be a lot of betrayal, a lot of jealousy, a lot of like secrets. I don't think that's going to be a great marriage. I think we got to kill Callus.
Yeah, that's how I'm going.
Yeah.
Gareth Evans said, would you rather eat 15 pounds of crawfish with Patrick or slap any single person you want as hard as you can with no consequences? Dude, I have been thinking about reviving my 1 slap per year program. I don't know if you guys know about that. Oh, okay. I'm going to re-explain this. Okay. I think we should have, I think a government official should run on this platform a 1 slap per year policy, right? You can slap 1 person per year with 0 legal consequences. If they still have their 1 slap left, they can slap you right back. You can defend yourself from a slap. You know, you can block that slap. But you get to slap open hand, no closed fist. That's assault. 1 open hand slap per year. You can use it whenever you want.
Okay.
No legal. Okay. So would you rather have that or have... No, would you rather have that or 15 pounds of crawfish with Patrick?
Well, for me, the answer is 15 pounds of crawfish with Patrick because that would just be a fun hang. But
sure would.
The slapping, I feel like you're going down the road that leads to the Purge movies, and that's how they start.
Interesting. You make a strong point.
I would take the slap as long as it came with like the tech to like track down Twitter users. Like,
oh, okay.
If I can be like, yeah, okay, like I want to slap this dude.
You don't run across people enough in real life to feel like you get one slap per year? No, I don't leave my
office enough. Yeah, I don't have enough, like, I don't have enough in real life people that I want to slap, but I got plenty online. So as long as it applies, like, I don't know if there's some sort of mechanism that you hook up to your PC and like I slap it on this end and then it like
it comes through. Whack.
It like measures the force and then they have to install it on their end.
I mean, there's some people out there who are just going to be getting slapped silly, right? Like they're just so deserving of slaps that multiple people per year are going to be using the slap on them. Do you think you could do something like carbon credits and like you could buy slaps from other people? Like Lego, you're such a nice guy. You're not going to use your slap.
Yeah,
I'll buy it from you.
People would trade them.
How much you talking?
Yep.
I'll get 2 slaps this year. I can't wait.
Well, here's what I would do.
Slaps our ass opening.
You use it as ammunition, where it's like you're having a bad game with someone. That guy on the mic gets on who's just cussing everybody out. He's like, "Hey man, I still got my 1 slap for the year left. You sure you want to do this? You know?"
I mean, I'm such a hoarder. I'd have trouble using my slap, right? Because I'd be like, it's only January. This guy deserves a slap, but what if I run into a true asshole in March? You know, it's tough.
Honestly, this could fix the internet if there was the threat of getting a slap. Because people are like, do I really want to type this? What if like it triggers, like it goes viral and triggers like 10,000 people?
10,000 people want to slap me.
And you have to take it. Yeah. It's the law.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need punishment on the internet. I was just watching a video today on the internet. Have you guys heard of the dead internet theory?
No.
This theory, I think it is pretty fringy, and I don't know how much I believe in it, but the theory goes that there's so much AI writing articles and making like content on the internet that there's way more of that than there are like live people creating content on the internet. And it's creating a system where the internet is no longer like a great place to get information. It is just trying to like ramp you up. It is now completely designed by corporations to elicit responses that will make you want to respond and stay on the internet, stay on a website for longer and longer and longer. And it's all generated by AI at this point. Like 70% of the entire internet is created by AI, and it's solely designed to elicit a emotional response from you.
It's more engagement.
Yeah. It's scary.
I feel like I could go down a whole rabbit hole with that, but I'm not going to, because I feel like we would need to create a whole separate podcast, ask Wilson to join us, and we'll go.
You know what my favorite thing about Wilson is he's banned by NASA. He is blocked on Twitter by NASA.
That fits.
Yeah, that adds up, right?
Yep.
Grim Invictus says, out of the 3 Hive siblings, which one do you think can clap their cheeks the hardest while twerking naked covered in baby oil?
What was the question?
Yeah, I gotta
clap their cheeks the hardest while twerking. Of the 3 Hive siblings.
I think
orcs, right?
Oh, the Hive siblings.
Orcs. Have we seen
the cheeks are huge?
Yeah, they're big.
Oh, it's gotta be Xivu. It's not the drums of war, it's the drums of booty, mate. That she's slapping.
Oh, you can hear it through space. It's so loud you can hear it through space.
Speaking of huge, and we talked about Holtzman earlier. Destiny teams posted. I don't know how I'm going from booty claps over to Holtzman, but I'm doing it. So, Destiny 2 teams account posted, they were like, hey, we were wondering what a giant screeb would look like, and it's just a beta looking room, like a test environment in Destiny 2, and the player's holding up a weapon and turns around and it's a screeb that is just like 20 feet tall, and it looks like a Silent Hill creature walking towards you, and it looks terrifying. I can't believe it's not in the game. And then later on, the devs were commenting about it, and Holtzman came out saying that he was the one who made it. So bringing it all back here, and of course, we would expect nothing less than a DCP member doing great things at Bungie.
Brings a tear to the eye.
Yeah, y'all got to go see it though. It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
Kane Shin Phoenix says, with Harmony, a perk that gives legendary weapons a bit of a boost in both PvP and PvE, spanning many archetypes. What would you agree that Sturm could or should get a rework / buff to make it more relevant, given that it can only use one other weapon for that boost in damage?
Yeah, Sturm's pretty strong.
Sorry, I'm
actually. Yeah, Sturm's pretty strong as it is, but it would be cool. I was thinking about this the other day, how there should be some exotic that works off of kills from other weapons, but Sturm is very like precise. It would be cool if they opened it up to like all other weapons and let you do the new exotic thing where you customize it, because we have all these new exotics that have coming out every season, like Revision 0, where you get to choose what perks you want in it, or Hawkmoon with random rolls. And it would be cool if Sturm, they gave it like the option of Harmony, Cascade Point, or Discord, or even those perks in different columns, and let you pick which one you want to roll with to match. Like, it would be the ultimate, like, this is the hand cannon you use to pair with some other gun you're getting kills with, and then you swap to Sturm, and it's super strong. Because right now it is kind of niche, like it only works with one other gun. So I think it would be cool to revamp it and do something like that.
Slothy says, with Thanksgiving fast approaching, I'm wondering when Watts will release... Look, first of all, I see where this is going. And I don't appreciate it, Slothy. Second of all, it is June 1st. How, in what world is Thanksgiving fast approaching? Get your shit together, Slothy. Pull it together, my friend. Lone Wolf says, Lego and TV are awesome, but I sure do miss Tefty. What's up with him? Does any of the DCP crew still keep in touch with him? And is there any chance he'll make a reappearance soon? Unfortunately, Lego killed Tefty in Mortal Kombat to earn his spot on the show. So, no, he's gone forever. Dead.
It's like the Vanguard. You know, if you kill one of them, you take their place. So I'm not sure what TV did. I know what I mean, you know, I can't say it out loud, but
yeah, for legal reasons.
Yeah.
In 7 years, I think, right? Or no, murder is not. I think. Never mind. Did I say the M word? My bad. Tefty's doing awesome. We do talk to him. We're not sure when he's going to be coming back. His life just took a turn where he just needed to work on other things. We're hoping that he'll come back, but you know, we're not sure yet. We sure do love Tefty, and we agree we miss him too. We do talk to him though. Zachary Richin says, Watson Mylan, how was your first D&D session?
Yeah, we did have D&D. It was really good. It was really interesting. It was really complex. I'm trying to work towards some more Destiny and Dragons stuff, as in like a D&D one-shot set in Destiny universe, but it's a lot of work, and a lot of people have already done something similar, but
really?
It's good content.
Interesting. Was that your first time playing Dungeons & Dragons?
Yep.
It's a good time. I don't feel like I'm ever very popular in Dungeons. They take it very seriously, and I'm not a very serious person. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean either.
So I tend to like try and like joke around the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I can't remember the stuff I did. I was just kicking indoors and like running out of monsters. And...
It just depends on who you play with, right? Like, doesn't
Possibly.
that set kind of the tone? Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on your dungeon mouse and the vibes.
Hey Blaze says, Deep Dive seems like Bungie's attempt at putting a roguelite into Destiny 2. Do you like the idea, and would you want them to expand on the idea in the future? Imagine being solo and there being a lot of tough modifiers the further you get, but the loot gets better and more unique. Yo, this would be an awesome idea, Hey Blaze. I would love something like, I'm imagining something like a horde mode, where it just keeps getting tougher and tougher, and the loot gets better and better the longer you go. I guess Prison at Eldritch is kind of like that. Not really, though.
I feel like if they set it up in the Destiny world, it would fit to the like revive and go again sort of deal that some of the road games have. So that kind of fits in the universe if they wanted to pull something off like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much anything Bungie touches with its feel of game, like the way it feels in your hands to play it, I'm kind of on board to try it. Like for example, like I was never that into RPG games that much and build crafting. I literally just played Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Halo, and that was kind of like my background, just first-person shooters. And I never did that much build crafting within those games, and I never did much community building within those games until Destiny was like, oh, like, you know, it actually has this way of connecting you to people and like actually getting you interested in things that you weren't interested in before just because it had that Bungie feel. So anything they touch, I'm down to try it.
Yeah, I do think Destiny needs new modes. Like, it's been a while since we got something like really fresh, like Gambit.
Yeah.
Bugo16 says, real question is, who's playing Diablo?
Diablo is a great game. I don't think I'm going to play it because I've just got too much other stuff to do.
Yeah.
I'll definitely play it. I mean, Street Fighter 6 is really what I'm like salivating over, and that's coming out tonight. So that is going to be kind of my weekend, and then I'll get to Diablo 4 when I get to Diablo 4. I don't have a lot of faith the Diablo 4 servers are going to be tip top, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. But you know, big launches like that on online games tend to be a little nightmarish right off at the beginning. So we'll see. We'll see how Diablo 4 goes. I played so much Diablo 2 when I was a kid, like so much that like I'm kind of Diablo'd out, honestly. Like I played a little bit of Diablo 3. I played through the campaign, and I liked it, but I didn't like grind it. Like Nick Salvaggio says, what's your favorite kind of grill to use? Oh, Grill Masters.
Actually, like the actual barbecue itself.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Is that what you mean by grill?
I think so.
I feel like this is like one of those like coal or gas or propane type questions.
Or like one of the egg ones or infrared.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
I don't think we really have many different types here, or like apart from like a Weber.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if we have like much more than that, or whatever you maybe use to slow cook stuff, like a smoker maybe.
Cooker. Oh, smokers are nice.
Yeah.
Yes, those are good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an all-day thing, though, right? It's like you're committed to drinking a lot of beer on a Saturday when you get the smoker out.
It's like you need to define the question. Like, is it me getting the benefits of the grill, or is it me having to do the grilling? Because if it's me doing the grilling, I'm just going to use whatever's handed down to me. I have a propane one right now. Again, that's just what I have because somebody gave it to me. So I'm like, sure, I'll use that. But if it's like the in-laws are making it for me and it's on the smoker and they're doing like sausage and, you know, brisket and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, the smoker, let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
So I think the intricacy of the question is your favorite kind of grill to use. And I think my favorite kind of grill to use is just a Weber. Like just putting charcoal in it and like slowly watching the charcoal come to temp, putting the meat or whatever you're cooking on the grates. It's just, to me, it's somehow more satisfying. What I actually have and use is a gas grill that kind of has like that infrared, and I don't particularly like it, to be honest with you. I bought it because it's supposed to cook meat fast. I don't even know why I bought it, honestly. I got hooked by a gimmick, and I regret it. But like my most enjoyable grill moments are definitely on like a charcoal grill. Like stacking the bricks in just such a way, and then lighting them, trying to use.
Yeah.
Like I like that, the whole process of it. For day-to-day cooking though, gas grills are just so nice. You just fire them up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sam says, if you could have another Final Boss themed armor set, who would you pick? It doesn't have to be a Destiny boss. Oh, interesting. It doesn't have to be a Destiny boss.
Armor set.
I'm trying to think of like a really notable final boss.
I'm just thinking of like games I played as a kid, and it's just came like 007. I was like, is Odd Job a boss? Can I get a
that would be. I would wear that armor set though with the hat.
That's funny.
The hat and the white suit.
Not only that, but like makes you short, like makes you half the size of. Just running around cruising as a hobbit, as an actual halfling.
You've got the permanent crouch button on, but you're running at normal speed.
Yeah,
that's great.
Pretty much.
I do feel like it's nice that PlayStation brought over all those sets that we have used lately. That are you've got Alloy from Horizon, and you got all the God of War gear, and then the third one you could be a what is it, like a assassin. Ninja warrior guy. I forget the name of the game. Ghosts of I'm blanking on the name right now. Tsushima, yes. So it's cool they brought all those over because that's like a really diverse set.
Lego, have you ever played the Ghost of Tsushima raid?
I have not played the game. Because okay, so there's this thing about me where I'm not a huge fan of third person like action games. Like I really liked the story of God of War, but that actual like style of gameplay doesn't suck me in as much. So I kind of like stray away. Even coming to Destiny, all the commercials were third person when the game first came out. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna be for me. And then I played it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I love this game. So yeah, I'm sure if I played it and got sucked in and had the time, I would totally go for it. But I would actually say, back to the question, a Dead Space armor set would be really cool. Both the enemies and the like actual like all the armor suit stuff, because it's kind of like almost like Iron Man-ish, where all the metal comes together and like, you know, all syncs up. Something like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. Miley?
I'm fighting people on Twitter.
Don't do that. You're doing a podcast right now. Concentrate. That's true.
Are you fighting people on lore and
about leagues? About leagues.
Oh, okay.
It's about leagues. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a really cool looking end boss from a video game, and what keeps coming to mind is Ganon from any of the Zelda games. He always looks cool. He's always got really distinctive looking armor and always a really cool art style. So if they could somehow like bring that art style into Destiny, I think that'd be awesome. And just like a crossover with Legend of Zelda, I don't know. I like Legend of Zelda.
That would be cool.
That would be neat.
Or even you could take it further, like get really weird with it and do like Resident Evil in-game bosses where it's like several eyes and hands coming out, kind of like the Warlock chess piece from the raid that has like 3 hands coming out, but like a whole set of stuff that's just super weird like that.
That would be cool.
I can't even wrap my mind around that.
Luke Shelley says, what other collab do you want Bungie to do for an armory set? Also, what's everyone's call-outs for the dungeon symbol? We already went over the dungeon symbols.
Yeah.
Collab for an armor set. I mean, just did that, but
yeah, kind of similar to what we just covered, I guess.
Yeah.
MTL Rocker says, what is everyone's starting class in Diablo 4? I don't even know the starting classes. Is there like a mage of some sort? Because that's usually what I like to do.
Yeah, there's a sorcerer that just shoots lightning, fire, ice, that kind of stuff.
That's what I like to do usually. Either that or like a some kind of brawler, like who doesn't use weapons at all, just punches shit. Yeah. That's always fun too.
Oh, there's a barbarian with a big axe, you know, that kind of specializes in like take damage, give out big damage, like kind of deal.
That's usually fun too.
There's a necromancer that summons like ghouls and
that's usually pretty fun. I like that.
Yeah. And then there's a not a chieftain. What's it called? You can like morph into animals and shit.
That sounds cool.
What I try and stay away from are like archers, and I like to usually go with magic because even though they're usually weak at the beginning, when you get into it a little bit, like their stuff starts building together, like flowing together, and you start being able to do really cool stuff that like lights up the whole screen. I like that.
Yep.
Your Basic Gamer says, with Destiny 2 and Escape from Tarkov being some of my favorite, most played games of all time, Marathon could be my dream game. What 2 games would you guys combine to make your dream game?
I mean, Marathon is that for me because I'm a huge Escape from Tarkov fan, and Destiny, like it is the best fit. What else would I want?
These questions are hard because I feel like you could think about this for a minute and get like kind of a lame answer, or think about it for like a few days and finally come up with something good.
I've got 2 different things I would go for. I would either go for like some sort of horror game like Silent Hill mixed with Destiny, because they kind of lean into that sometimes. But if they could do, and they do it in these missions, even like in the dungeon where you don't have any weapons and you're just going through a space. But if they made it like legit creepy and like you're more running from stuff, like a giant scream that's as tall as Holtzman made it, like stuff like that in a Destiny universe, I would dig a lot. And then I could go to the complete other end where it's like all shooter and it's like Apex or PUBG mixed with Destiny. Like that would be like everything. And Marathon's close to that. Obviously it's different, it's an extraction game, but I'm hoping it gives me that same adrenaline feel just with more options. So I'm very much just doubling down excited on Marathon. Like
Marathon's pretty exciting. I think I would do Castlevania 1 specifically, the one with, because it's got like the old school like monsters like Dracula and like Frankenstein and the Mummy and Medusa, like that kind of stuff. And then I would combine that with Hollow Knight, because those guys get it for 2D Metroidvania. And I think if they made a Castlevania game, I would be loving it.
I would like to combine. You ever played Mountain Blade before? So it has like RTS component, but also when you go to like fight, you build your army, and then you're on the battlefield, and you got your sword or your armor and whatever, and you can still direct your troops, but you can actually go in there and start swinging. I would like Destiny, so like a sci-fi first-person shooter crossed with that kind of game style. So like you're setting up big battles, and then you're like down in the field with your gun, like running around. And a single developer has started doing something like that, and it looks like like a bit like Dune, where you have one enemy team who is like aliens, and it's RTS. But when you go down, you're actually like a troop running around. There's like monsters and.
That's cool.
It looks really cool.
That would be fun.
That sounds really cool.
Was it?
I got a bonus one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Was it Mag that used to be able to like? You could play kind of an RTS, or no? It had one person who was controlling all the troops, and then the rest of the team was playing a first-person shooter, but getting directions from like the commander, who was just one person on the team. Was that Mag?
I can't remember.
Battlefield did that for sure. They had a commander like slot where and you could play it on your iPad while everybody else was playing on like their PlayStation, and they were like the first person, but the commander could like do supply drops and tell the different squads where to go and could see all the squads at once. It was kind of a cool idea. I don't know that it ever came to complete fruition, but it was a really cool concept for like being involved in the game without being at your console.
Yeah.
Bonus round. A pixel art version of like a Destiny scroller, like King's Quest V.
Yeah.
Like old PC game style, like where it's just pixel art and you're like
an
you're
adventure
navigating,
game,
talking to people on different quests and stuff. But like that pixel style, that would be killer, because it would be, you could go so deep with lore stuff and still have it kind of be like the interesting pixel art. I feel like there's a lot of pixel artists at Bungie too that are really good. So I bet it'd be cool.
I feel like Space Magic and Moon Logic won't line up for puzzles. Like you can do any. Puzzle can be anything with Space Magic, right?
Right. I guess it'd be a little impractical.
No, I think it would work good. I would play that. Eng says, when's the last time you guys actually felt the Christmas spirit in the air? Last December.
Yeah.
Are you dissing on Christmas?
Christmas?
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm a little jealous. You got like a bunch of awesome birthdays and Christmases are going to be so fun for you for like 18 years.
We had Leo's first birthday last weekend.
Nice. Just wait till they're asking, is it Christmas like every day? They're like, is it Christmas today? Like, no, that was in December. It's June now, but is it Christmas tomorrow?
We'll have to wait and see.
Go to bed.
Do you have toy stores, Mylan, in Australia? Like physical toy stores that you can like walk inside? And you do. We don't have them anymore, really. Like you can go to like Target and Walmart and like that kind of place, but like the big ones have pretty much all closed down as far as I know, unless there's like some regional stuff.
I think Toys R Us went under.
Yeah,
I think they're the same, aren't they? But in the like area that I live, it just sort of got replaced by another toy shop. So
that's good. That was real sad.
It's not common though.
No,
for sure.
That was one of my favorite things. Is going. I'm bringing my kids to Toys R Us and like kind of just letting them go crazy. Like just, you know, we're not gonna put a limit on this one. Just go nuts.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Rogue Zool says, after playing for a week plus, what are your thoughts on the power level not increasing? I'm torn between I enjoy being able to play the harder content right away, but also feeling like there isn't much to do. Maybe it's just an adjustment, or maybe it's already maxed out my vault.
I think people are in a habit of the dopamine hit of making number go high, and it's an adjustment period of like, now I'm chasing like a roll of a weapon or an armor set or this, that, and the other, which I think is more meaningful than just make number go big. But a lot of people also find that therapeutic. They don't really think about what they're doing. They just like get on number go big. I feel like I've accomplished something in my gaming session. Like I feel better.
Yeah, I would encourage those to like push through that feeling of like, oh, this is different, I'm not sure that I like it, and really start looking for the things that make the game fun for you. And like Mylan said, it could be the number going up, that and so I hope that those people are able to find something else, because the freedom of not having to just play something that I don't want to play and go for either a weapon that I want to go for, or just play the game because it's fun and I like playing the game, are so much more rewarding to me than chasing a number. And as somebody who about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago decided I just wasn't going to do the light grind anymore, it's very free not having to do it. Although we did talk about the grinding problem now that we're going to have with the artifact, which is a whole other thing. But not having to do light level specifically for things like trials and maybe dungeon stuff, we'll see. How everything plays out, or lost sectors.
At least with the artifact, you can just play the game. Whereas with
exactly,
I
can play the stuff I want to play.
Light level, you're really kind of forced to like play the game in like, okay, I gotta hit like this activity for 3 rounds. I gotta hit this activity for 3 rounds. I gotta do this. I gotta do, I gotta do this raid, this dungeon. Like you kind of have this like loop of things you had to do. And if you're playing 3 characters, like you had to do it 3 times each week. I don't know. I found that to be, after many years, to be a little repetitive, especially if there's like a game mode that you don't really like. For example, Gambit.
Yeah. Yeah, or if you just, there are some modes that it's not that I don't like them. It's just kind of tedious to do them, and that you only have so much time. If you're just normal person playing Destiny, you work, you hang out with your fam and everything, right. And then maybe you have like an hour, like sometimes before going to bed, and it's like, I don't want to just do a pinnacle grind. I just want to play the parts of the game that are fun, and so It's like maybe Vanguard strikes are fine, but I don't really want to spend my night doing that.
Yeah. Kyle Flint says, now that some time has passed, what do you think is the best way to handle Zavala going forward after Lance Reddick's death? Quietly leave it a lore tab, sacrifice himself to save someone else, recast either short-term like Cade or long-term like Ikora. I still feel conflicted. I don't know about this one. Like, this is such a hard problem to solve. You know that Bungie wants to have the utmost respect for Lance Reddick, but also they have like this multi-million-dollar project that has to keep moving forward and address this in some way. It's very, I would not want to be in that position on this one. This is a tough one.
I mean, I do imagine they will write him out, and I do think it will be on screen, and I think Bungie will find the balance between being respectful about, what's happened in real life, and I think it will probably be pretty touching and respect the character of Zavala, but respect who Lance was too. It will be, a show of leadership and something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone at Bungie, all the developers and writers, have like a great, deep respect for Lance, as much as the players do, and I feel like they'll probably handle it pretty well. I feel like it's hard for me to imagine a set path other than it being, like Mylan said, like really respectful and like honoring him as somebody who played the game and was a big part of us as players in the world of Destiny.
Blandy McBlanderson says, which of the following do you find the most threatening? He's got 3 options here. I'll go through all 3. 1, orcas are learning from other orcas how to attack human boats. 2, octopuses have built 2 underwater cities in Jervis Bay, Australia. Mylan, how have you not updated us as our Australian correspondent? This seems like news we should have known about. 3,
Octopus.
All crustaceans are evolving into crabs in a process called carcinization. Carcinization. So all crustaceans are evolving.
The orcas are terrifying.
Yeah, the orcas are terrifying.
Because up until recently, they've only ever attacked people in captivity, not in the wild, right?
That's very concerning.
Attacking boats
as groups.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that video? I only saw it recently, so maybe it's just a recent video. But it's a group of orcas, like a pod of orcas, who see a seal on like a big sheet of ice, and they work together to crack up the sheet of ice so the seal goes into the water and they eat it. Man, that's messed up. Yeah, definitely number 1. Or octopuses having an underwater city makes me joyous and want to visit.
Yeah, that's more interesting than scary. Because the question is what's scary, right? And I was like, number 1, but the octopus, that's interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's a city? It's not like fucking buildings down there and cars driving and shit.
Oh, as our Australian correspondent, I hope to find out more next week. Mr. Goodbye says, what's an important life lesson that I could pass on to my kids? Wrong answers only, please.
You can't fail if you give up. Oh, is that
True.
What's
that?
that?
Cheaters actually do win frequently.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Literally a blank. I have no idea. Life is just like every move you make could be good or bad.
The Mohegan 9 says, if you could add a 0 anywhere in your life, where would you put it? Well, this one seems obvious to me, right at the back of my bank account. Seems like the best place for it.
See, the way I read this question...
Where else would you do it?
Yeah, I made it... It almost sounded like it was like if you were to 0 something out, is the way I was reading it, because it has to be money otherwise. But if it's like, if you could 0 out one area of your life, just make it non-existent.
Like a criminal record, for instance? Lego?
I mean, if you had one. Just the little... Cover up a body, like Tefty, just... Like it never happened.
Just 0 that body away.
Hold on a second. if I could put a 0 anywhere,
yeah,
I could put a 0 for how many YouTube subscribers I have,
and just add a 0. Or you're gonna 0 it out to 0. You now have 0 YouTube subscribers.
No.
You've just erased years of work.
Then I'll have 2.4 million.
That would be good. That'd be good. Maybe could I just add it to the back of the view counts?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't really need subscribers if I got the views. Last question of the night. Hugo Rude 79 says, if you could have a conversation with an inanimate object, which one would you choose and why? Let's see.
Probably something like really public that has seen a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Just to get like either something that was in a place that was really important where a lot of important things happen, just to
Like
ask,
a pyramid or something.
What do you think? Or like, yeah, like or the inside of some government, like the president's office or something like that.
Oh yeah, like the
either
desk
that
in the president. In the
yeah,
Oval
like
Office.
a desk. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
cool.
That or some like central place in New York that is just the busiest area, and just talked about like what's the craziest stuff you've seen. Tell me about it. Just to hear the stories.
I mean, or you could go down like the history path, like ask a question to something that's like in a museum, like a cannon or like an axe from a Viking, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you could ask the Sphinx. You could have a conversation with the Sphinx. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
that is
How did
pretty
you
good.
build it? How?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was the Sphinx there? Do they know if the Sphinx was there before the pyramids or was it after? I know that there's like a lot of like conspiracy theories, but do like Egyptologists know? I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm just laughing that they're arguing whether or not a penis is an inanimate object in chat.
Maybe yours is. All right, that's gonna do it for episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. Anything else we want to talk about? We're good. Good to go. I think Mylan's about to croak.
I can't literally. I can't even talk. I'm done.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching or listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.